Good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you in the 7th edition of Ahmedabad International Literature Festival. At the start, I would like to inform you all that we are having this special session today because of some unavoidable circumstances. We generally held our sessions on Saturdays at this time, sometimes on Sundays as well. But this is a very special session which is close to almost heart. And before we start the session, I would like to tell few things about AI Lab. We started on virtual mode last week on 5th February. I would request someone of you to please mute your. We are getting some background noise. Yes, fine. So we are in the process of deciding the dates for the offline session. Hopefully, we'll be doing it very soon, and as soon as we finalize the dates, we'll announce it, and then we will plan for the gatherings, physical gatherings. By that time, weekend session will continue. Today, before we start the session, I would like the audience, those who have joined us first time and speakers even, to watch a small video where we have been doing the activities, what we have been doing and how we have been doing since 2016. It doesn't cover everything, but it has some small highlights.
Ahmedabad International Literature Festival, which aims to promote reading and writing, particularly in children and young adults, started with a bang in 2016. Mr. Umashankar Yadav, the founder-director of AILF and Icon Education Foundation, with his able and committed team, has taken the literary discourse of the city to a new height, with 3 successful annual editions of the Literature Festival.
इस तरह के लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल के माध्यम से उसी इक्वल प्लेटफॉर्म और उतना ही ऑनर मिलना चाहिए, वो उन्नत समाज की निशानी होती है और ये बहुत पॉजिटिव साइन है.
આ પ્રક્રિયા છે તે જળ બિંદુમાંથી મોતી થવાની પ્રક્રિયા છે.
AILF जैसे पहल रखी गई है, ये बहुत जरूरी है.
AILF has gained widespread appreciation and popularity and has been applauded for its continuous and commendable work. Every time AILF proudly presents a collective diverse of distinguished speakers from the fields of literature, art, cinema, journalism, business, politics, academics and more, who share their insightful opinions and compelling takes on a variety of subjects.
અહીંના નાગરિકોને આર્ટ, કલ્ચર, લિટરેચર આ તમામ બાબતોમાં પણ એક મંચ મળી રહે અને કલા અને સંસ્કૃતિને પણ પ્રોત્સાહન મળે.
સંસ્કૃતિ આપણી કલા એ આજની નવી પેઢી સુધી પણ પહોંચે અને એ લોકો પણ આપણી આ જે સંસ્કૃતિ છે એને ગરિમાને જાળવી રાખે તેના પ્રયાસ રૂપે અમે આ ફેસ્ટિવલનું આયોજન કર્યું.
A host of other activities like book launches, authors' interactions with attendees, workshops, art and craft displays are also a huge draw for people. Various contests and awards make the festival even more fascinating and lively. Cultural events of the AILF with musical evenings and engaging literary discussions are promoting literary tourism to Ahmedabad, making the city an important literature destination in the country. Ahmedabad International Literature Festival resolves to continue serving literature lovers the best of everything that the world has to offer.
इनका वर्णन मिलता है. हमारा संपूर्ण साहित्य, उसका मतलब ही ये है जो समाज का कल्याण करे, हित करे, परोपकार करे, भलाई करे, वो साहित्य है. जिस साहित्य में ये वर्णन नहीं तो वो साहित्य नहीं, एक कल्पना मात्र हो सकती है.
Hi, welcome back once again, everybody. Before we start the session, I welcome all my esteemed guests joining us from across the country. Nitish Raj is joining us from Gaya, Bihar. Dr. Kaveri is, of course, from Ahmedabad. Abeer Mukherjee is joining us from. Yes, Abirji, you are
Bangalore.
joining from
Bangalore.
from
Bangalore.
Bangalore, and of course, Neil De Silva will be joining us from Mumbai. Okay. So before my introducer of the day, the young author Arya Patel introduces our esteemed guest, I would introduce Arya Patel. Arya is a very young author of 10th standard. Her book, her first novel, that was a murder at massacre. That was a thrilling story. Was launched, published when she was in ninth standard, and she's planning to publish her second novel on her 16th birthday, that is coming August. Arya is also interested in helping the particularly adolescents, those who are suffering with the mental health. That's a wonderful thing. Arya, this pandemic has put almost every one of us into the mental illness, and you are doing a great job. Over to you. You can start introducing our esteemed guest, please.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all, and welcome to AILF. I would like to introduce all of the speakers. To start with Mr. Abir Mukharjee. Abir sir is a published author of 4 books, and they are The Sinful Silence, Sin is the New Love, Soar, Success Over Adversity Reigns, and As Life Has No Undo. Recently, his second latest book, Sin is the New Love, has been acquired for a screenplay by one of the leading producers, and a discussion is in progress for The Sinful Silence. Welcome, sir. Neil
Thank you.
De Silva. Neil Sir, with 12 books to his credit, is a known name in the Indian literary world. His unique stories have struck a chord with a wide range of readers, eliciting praise from various quarters. He has published his books with leading publishers, such as Penguin Random House, Rupa Publications, and Hatchet, among others. He has won screen adaptation deals on 4 of his books and is now writing stories for 3 web series. Welcome, sir. Dr. Kaveri Purandhar. Kaveri ma'am is a researcher by profession and the founder of Pretty Much Everything, Rendezvous and Reviews with Kaveri. Ma'am is a freelancer which involves emceeing, blogging, and moderating for meaningful events. She has been a talk show host and an outreach editor as well for over a year for largest digital media platform for women. She recently had a learning experience of editing 2 books, one for children, another for adults, which are both now in printing. Welcome, Kaveri, ma'am. And finally, our fourth speaker, Nitish sir. He is a literary critic who has turned into an author and is the co-founder of Literia Insight and editor-in-chief at the Literary Mirror. Having been published and featured at multiple prominent media houses of both national and international repute, he has been an eminent speaker at prestigious institutions like IIT's IIM Lucknow, NIT Silchar. Host of a unique talk show, The Lit Talks, he has been invited as host to International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research Mumbai and as a guest poet at International Poetry Conference in Africa. We welcome all of the speakers to AILF.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arya, for your wonderful introduction. I would like to thank and express our gratitude to our partners of the session today. It has been, in fact, great efforts from Mr. Vikas of the Literia Insight and, of course, Dr. Kaveri Purandhar. These people have been the curator of this session, and they have worked very hard. We wish them all the very best for their ventures. That is pretty much everything by Dr. Kaveri, and Criteria Insight by Mr. Nitish Raj is the speaker with us, and Mr. Vikas Saxena, who has been behind the screen, behind the system for organizing this session. I welcome you all, our esteemed guests, Mr. Neil, Mr. Abir, and Mr. Nitish. Kaveri ji, it's over to you, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, thank you and Jai Hind, and thank you, Arya, for the wonderful introduction, and AILF and Uma Shankarji for giving me this opportunity. So, we begin with the session, and I'm really looking forward to learn so much from Neil, Abir, and Nitish today, and having their valuable insights, on the wonderful, wonderful theme of books, drama, and screen. Oh my God. And to all the viewers out there, I have to say all the three stalwarts writing in the field of writing have marked their niche in some way or the other, and their books have been adapted for the big screen. Oh my goodness, how lovely it is. So, Neil, I have to say that, two of your books, three of your write-ups have been taken up as web series, and four for the big screen. They are under production now. So, I mean, now when you look back to the journey when your first piece of work was taken on a big screen, so has the feeling been the same when you came from first to sixth, or now you have some different perceptions about it? How is that?
First of all, thank you for having me here. It's such a prestigious name, AILF. Been following your work for such a long time at the Ahmedabad International Literature Festival, and I was hoping that one day I'd be talking to this audience, and today I am. So thank you very much. And coming over to your question, I have been an author for now 7 years. 2015 I started, and I got my first adaptation deal. That was in 2015 itself, in the very first year that my book came out, Maya's New Husband. So a producer was who was tracking me on social media. He saw how the book performed, and they reached out to me, and they wanted to give me a deal. So when that happened, of course, it was exhilaration at the highest, at the pinnacle of it, and I could not believe that I got a deal, because 3 months ago I was not even thinking of being an author. I just became an author. I published on Amazon KDP first. My first book was there, and it got a deal. So now, moving on, the journey has been quite exciting. Of course, COVID put us back a little, because when the pandemic happened, 2 years, it was a kind of an impasse. But before that, I had 4 books signed up for different kinds of screen adaptations, movies, web series, etc. Uh, some of them have made the announcements public, some of them haven't, so I'll not be able to talk about that. But
Okay,
when
sure.
COVID tided over, that means when 2021 came in, a little bit, when the downturn started, that was when I started also writing for web series. Or rather, I would
Hmm.
say I was invited to write for web series. So, what I do is
Wow.
I provide original stories, concepts rather, and then there's a whole team that works on it. So I'm the one who gives the original story. So in that process, I have been able to place 3 stories so far. So place, I say, but in fact it is the other way around. It's the producers who want me to write something. They call out
Yeah.
to reach out to me, and then something happens, and it's always exciting. It's always exciting. Just yesterday I had a call that I'm just zeroing in on another web series which I've been pitching for about 3 weeks now. When I say I, it means my
Wonderful.
producers and I, and now a channel is interested. So when a channel is interested, it becomes the bigger thing. That's what needs to happen. So yeah,
True. True.
it's always exciting. It's always exciting. That will never die.
Okay, okay, that's wonderful to know, and about your journey will be knowing it more about it. So coming on to Abir, hi Abir, and congratulations as your book, "Sin is the New Love" has been taken for the big screen, and this is your first. So
Yeah.
of course, Neil being a bit experienced, and this is your first. So was there something that you were very very careful about when you were informed that your book is being taken for the big screen?
Yeah, only thing I not important. That was the only thing I cared about. That is the credit on the screen. That's all.
Okay.
When I got the contract, I was looking for that particular line that my name is there and it will be right based on the book name by my name. That's all I cared about.
That means, the story is inspired by the novel written by Abir Mukharjee.
Yeah, inspired
So
or
you want
based or adaptation, whatever the word you tell.
adaptation, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, that's so nice and very crisp, though. And we have Nitish from in Literia Insight, and probably the author who has been paid in advance of the 25,000 copies before it was there in the market. नितिश जी, what a wonderful feeling. कैसा लग रहा होगा आपको उस moment पे? And now you are into the initiative of, from stories to screen. So, as an author and also being an initiator of stories to screen, that banner, तो वो क्या feelings, मतलब how the journey has been, उसमें कुछ changes हुआ है या आप कुछ अपने नए thought process लाए हैं?
देखो, सबसे बड़ी चीज क्या है ना कि एक ऑथर की जर्नी, और जैसा अभी आपने बताया कि हम इसमें एलएफ में जो है एज अ फाउंडर, को फाउंडर, ठीक है, और स्टोरी टू स्क्रीन, लिट टॉक्स, लिट टूर चल रहा है जिसपे बुक्स एंड ड्रामा स्क्रीन पर नील सर, सबसे पहले तो मतलब मुझे नील सर से मिलके बहुत अच्छा लगा। आई हैव हर्ड अ लॉट अबाउट यू, मतलब मेरा करियर बहुत, आई थिंक आई स्टार्टेड करियर लिटिल अर्ली, बट आपसे मिलने का भी मौका नहीं, नाइदर डिजिटली नाइदर फिजिकली, एंड ऑब्वियसली अभी सर वेलकम। तो क्या होता है, ये सर नील सर भी कहेंगे कि जब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं करियर एज एन ऑथर तो शायद माइंड फ्रेम अलग होता है, और जब आप एक पोजीशन पे होते हो जहां की आपको ऑथर्स को प्रमोट करना होता है तो शायद एक माइंड फ्रेम अलग होता है। अभी मेरा सबसे बड़ा फोकस, मेरी एक लाइन है जैसा सर ने कहा, अबीर सर ने, कि ना मैं वो लाइन ढूंढ रहा था कि क्रेडिट है या नहीं है। मेरे लिए मसला यह है कि पूरी नॉवेल का, पूरी जो वेब सीरीज है उसका करता धरता मैं हूं, कॉन्सेप्ट जैसा सर ने कहा, नील सर ने, तो मुझे क्यों जो है सिर्फ एक सिंगल लाइन क्रेडिट तक ही रखा जाए, व्हाई आई एम नॉट इन द पिक्चर। इफ यू सी इनटू वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज, अभी मैं एक बहुत अच्छा एक टॉक शो सुन रहा था, बहुत फेमस स्क्रीन राइटर से, वी इंडियंस एज एन ऑथर आर पेड इन वेरी मच लेस, इतना कम कि शायद कई बार हम ये जुमला भी करते हैं, हमसे अच्छा तो दिहाड़ी मजदूर कमा लेता है, बट we are paid very less at times, and Neil sir would agree with this thing because the industry। तो क्या चीज है, हमें क्रेडिट जो है नहीं मिल पाता ढंग का, और क्रेडिट मिलता तो उस हिसाब का हमें, तो दैट्स द थिंग जो है मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूं ये कि ऑथर्स को ज्यादा से ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेशन में, इवन इन द वेब सीरीज और इवन इन एनी फील्ड व्हिच वी डू एज एन ऑथर।
Okay, wonderful. And
I'll just put in something to this because it's a very important point.
Please.
Because क्या होता है कि हमारी बुक होती है, but when the book is going to screen, तो वो उसी तरह से नहीं जाएगी. There'll be lots of changes made in it, और उसको screen के लिए translate करना पड़ता है. Because if it's a book like जो भी है 50,000 words का book है, उसको 10 episode का web series बनाना है, so you need to have parallel tracks, you need to have other characters, ये सब होता है. So at that time, if the author is also involved in the discussion, so it makes a different thing, because otherwise what will happen is author's story will be somewhere else and the screen adaptation will be something totally different. So yes, it's very important that the author must be on board.
Yeah, okay, and then Neil, you have raised a very valid point. The author should be in the discussion. So I want to ask Abeer, were you like kind of already mentally prepared before probably signing the contract or being into this process कि ये तो मुझे बोलना ही है, and what kind of groundwork or research did you do before getting into this?
Getting into the screen
the
adaptation.
process, the entire process, screen adaptation.
Yeah, actually, when a book has been adapted, like author has not much to talk about, like as per process as of now in the place. So they just bought the right, and they can do anything with it, and you have nothing to say, though you are the parent of the story, though you are the creator of it. So yeah, as Neil sir told, like if they involve you, then you can have some say, but it depends on the production house or the director, whether they will give you that value, your opinion will be heard or not. Otherwise, I think until unless you are being a script writer, that voice doesn't reach to the either to the production team or to the direction team.
Coincidentally, just before this session, I was having my session on my platform with the very renowned author Tanushree Poddar, and whose one of the latest books has been adapted to screen. And she was also feeling that once you are done with the contract or in the process, the authors don't have much of a say in the entire process. So I want to begin this question, like we want to know Neil's opinion that what can be done, or what steps, I would not say steps, but what can be done to make an author more and more involved in the entire process. I mean, right from the scripting to the dialogue deliveries to how it looks when it comes to a screenplay. So Niels, your thought on this?
Okay, so for me the case has been different. So whether it was Maya's New Husband or Yakshini or the other book that is, I'm even forgetting the names of my books because so many have gone on screen. Okay, so
You have
even
written a lot, sir.
yeah, I have
इतने
written
सारे
a
हो
lot.
गए.
But I definitely do remember Yakshini and Maya's New Husband because that process was very long. And what
Oh.
I was very particular about was that I should also be a part of the process. And I found excellent producers who wanted me to be a part of the process. So what we
Wow.
did was they did not just take the book off the counter. It was not that kind of a sale. So I was a part of it. I adapted, or rather, I should say, I wrote an entirely different synopsis of the book for the pitch, for the screen adaptation. Means like it is Yakshini, right? Yakshini is a novel. But to adapt Yakshini, we wanted to make, I'll just give an example because I cannot say the exact specific points, a 10 episode series. So if we want to make the 10 episode series, then I wrote down like what I want in the first episode, second episode, third episode, how I see it, plus the additional characters that I put in the story because we needed to flesh it out a bit. The how the character arc would move and what chronology we will have because what happens in a novel will not be the same thing that will happen on screen. There will be
Yeah.
chronological differences. So all that material I prepared. I prepared a Bible. This is called as a Bible in the show parlance. So I prepared a Bible of around 30,000 words itself. So the Bible was half the size of the book in which I had given a complete detailing of the character sketches, the world that I want, the philosophy of the show, what would happen in season two. So all these things for Yakshini, for what the eyes don't see, which is also going on screen shortly. So all these things I provide, and I am always with the producers in this discussion. So they do not sideline me. So I've been lucky in that
जी.
regard because I've heard horror stories. I write horror, but I've heard horror stories of authors being completely sidelined and the book going a complete different journey. So,
जी.
what you should do is when you talk to the producers, when you have the first meeting itself, you should make sure that you will be a part of this process because that is
Okay.
extremely important. Otherwise, you will end up dissatisfied. When we see the
Okay.
West, when we talk about people like J.K. Rowling, for example, Harry Potter,
Yeah.
she was on board with each and every scene how the how her books would look on screen. Same with
Yeah.
Stephen King. For each of his stories, is quite hands-on. So this needs to be done in India, and as Nitish just said, that's very important that we do it here because authors are not very aware of the process of I mean, the book to screen process. We become very happy when we get a deal, but then there is this risk of being sidelined and your story becoming very different. So I have been
जी.
hands on. I make sure I do not go for the dialogues. I do not write dialogues. I do not even write screenplay. But I do write the entire synopsis of how I want the story to be, the
Synopsis.
story concept, and then I
Wonderful.
give it to more technically minded people to write the screenplay and dialogue. I move out at that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful.
I
Okay.
would
So,
I would like to add.
yes,
Uh,
Abir. Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I would like to add like the whatever Neil said about the Bible writing, character arc, and all. That is actually the work of a script writer. So normally a writer doesn't get that responsibility. So
I
it
would
is
I
it
would
is good to
really
hear that
actually
you.
I would like to say something here. Abhi. So I have like for all the four books that I provided for my adaptation, I have been the one who has written the synopsis and all that. This is actually not the script writer's work. The script writer comes into the picture after a channel is after a studio comes in, after a channel comes in. Initially, it will be the producer who will take it from you. If you're very lucky and a channel takes it from you directly, then it's a whole different process.
Then that's a
But
different story.
it's a whole different story. And then the
No,
payments will be huge.
जी.
yeah,
So
actually,
usually it will complete.
yeah,
Okay.
recently I have involved into a script writing directly where
Yeah.
I have started writing from the scratch, like as you said, synopsis,
Yes.
character arc, episode breakdown, pilot episode. So I mean, Okay, I didn't know that that is not the work of a
No,
scriptwriter.
that's not the
So,
work of a screenwriter. Once all these things are done, I mean, once you have written about the character arcs and all that, once you have written the Bible, that is when the screenwriter or the screenplay writer comes in. The screenplay writing is a completely different speciality. It is written on a scene to scene basis. So that is written in a completely different way. So when you write
yeah,
the
that
synopsis
is
and give,
also I'm writing
that can
actually.
be summed up. Yeah.
Mhm.
So why I
Actually,
don't go through that process is because that is very time consuming, and I would rather create another original story in that much time. My forte is creating original stories. So I write a story, I create the synopsis for it. Once I get a deal, I move out. I then I sit down for all the sessions, for the meetings. I give the inputs to the screenwriters and the dialogue writers, etc., which is very necessary. But I do not do that actual work. I move on to my next project. So
Okay.
that's
Yes,
how it
Nitish.
is.
Yeah.
yeah, actually, I wanted to say one thing. As sir said, no, that I was lucky and really, that I was involved from the day one on my every project. But normally, what we have a tendency that we had set a benchmark that okay, if my book has got adapted, I am successful as an author. Actually, this is the mentality that
Yeah.
okay, मेरी book जो है चली गई, now I am something I have achieved in that. उसके बाद क्या हुआ, नहीं हुआ, क्या होना चाहिए था, मुझे इससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है. और दूसरी
Yes.
चीज हम बार्गेन नहीं कर पाते. कहीं ना कहीं अगर फॉर एग्जांपल एनी पर्टिकुलर XYZ प्लेटफॉर्म ने मेरा एक्सेप्ट करा या ही हैड कॉन्टेक्टेड मी एंड गिवन मी अ वेरी स्मॉल डील और समथिंग लो पार्टिसिपेशन, हैव आई द करेज टू से नो टू देम? नो, सैडली नो, एक्सेप्ट वेरी फ्यू ऑथर्स दैट वी जस्ट इन नंबर्स कि ठीक है यार मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए, मैं एक्चुअली हैव रिटन समथिंग फॉर नेटफ्लिक्स और अमेजॉन प्राइम और समथिंग अ बिग बजट नहीं यार हो गया, पता नहीं मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. इट इज ऑल्सो द साइक ऑफ अवर्स कि अरे अभी मिल रहा है, पता नहीं मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा. तो वो भी चीजें होती है. और तीसरी चीज होती है कई बार हमारे काम पे, सॉरी सारे ऑथर्स है, हमारे काम पे कई बार हमें कॉन्फिडेंस कई बार कम हो जाता है. अगर दो चार लोग बोले नहीं यार ये चीज मिल रही है, अगली बार पता नहीं मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी, अब इसका ट्रेंड नहीं चल रहा. दूसरी एक चीज ये भी मैं ऐड करूंगा, कई बार हमारी जो बुक्स के साथ मसला होता है, जैसे सर तो खैर पाइनियर है हॉरर जॉनर के, बहुत कम ऑथर्स है जिन्हें मैं पर्सनली जानता हूं जो हॉरर जॉनर लिखते हैं, जबकि इंडस्ट्री में पिछले 8 साल से मैं भी हूं. रीजन क्या है? हमने देखा रोमांस चल रहा है, चलो रोमांस लिखते हैं. किसी का थ्रिलर एक्सेप्ट हो गया, मैं भी थ्रिलर लिख लेता हूं. तो ये भी एक रीजन है कि हम अपना नीश क्रिएट नहीं कर पा रहे कि एक्चुअली मैं क्या लिखना चाहता हूं. मेरी जैसे सर ने कहा कि मेरी फॉर्ट है ओरिजिनल स्टोरीज करना, मैं ये जो बाइबल है या जो कैरेक्टर आर्क है वो लिखने में ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लेता. डील डन, क्लोज, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू स्टार्ट माय नेक्स्ट बुक. तो हमारी फॉर्टे क्या है, हम क्या चाहते हैं लिखना एग्जैक्टली, ये चीज बड़ी जरूरी है. जैसे मुझे अपना एक एग्जांपल याद आता है, आई स्टार्टेड विद अ बुक बेस्ड ऑन गैंगरेप. अब जब मीडिया में प्रमोशंस वगैरह की बात है तो आई गॉट सिंपली सर नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि इंडिया में रेप और उस पर से आप जो है खुद मेल है, और दूसरा मैं वो विक्टिम वाला मोड नहीं था कि नहीं लाइफ मूव ऑन. तो रीजन क्या, अगर हम कुछ अलग कर रहे हैं तो रिजेक्शन झेलने की हमें हिम्मत है, वो भी हमें देखना पड़ेगा.
Okay. So taking this further, I'll just try to give a different tangent to this entire discussion. On a lighter note, we have Neil, we have Nitin, Nitish, and we don't have Mukesh, but we have Mukherjee. So I'll begin my question with Abeer now. Abeer, currently in India, the literary agencies are coming up, and they are very few to describe or to count on. कि अभी सब डेवलपिंग हो रहा है. सो डू यू फाइंड कि अगर इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ अ लिटरेरी एजेंट to pitch in your book for a big production house, is that process you find it, you are comfortable with, or you are more okay with the process author, publisher and the big production house? How does that work for you, and if not, then what is your perspective on the same?
I think agent is required. Like that is not present at the moment in India. How the number should be. There are very handful trustworthy agent who can break the deal, which is worth for an author. But other than that, you can see the post on social media, and everyone is claiming that they are an agent and all. Leaving all those aside, like who are really working on the thing in the real time, and this is actually a necessary in this process. They uh, they charge for themselves, and for that they will be having that urge to sell your script or book to the good publisher or the production house, so that their commission also will be the higher end. So that is the win-win game for all the side, I believe. But unfortunately, it is not there how it is in the foreign countries. Foreign countries, their presence is much more higher in the number and success rate as well.
ओके ओके सो नितिश, मैं आपसे ये सवाल पूछूंगी नील के बाद, बिकॉज आपके पास मुझे पूछने के लिए दो दो पोजीशंस यू आर होल्डिंग. सो नील, डू यू अग्री विद व्हाट अबीर हैज सेड और यू हैव सम डिफरेंट ओपिनियन फॉर दिस?
No, absolutely. You do need agents every step of the way, because see, there is the work of an agent goes much beyond just placing a book or either for publication or for a screen adaptation. It goes much beyond that. So I've been very fortunate to have my literary agent as the book bakers, who they stepped in after my third book, because Maya's husband was not with them. They came in when Yakshini was there, but the moment they came in, there was a whole kind of a setup that was ready for me. Like, they knew where to pitch, where to publish, where to get publishers from, etc. Also, I was lucky in the regards of having the Story Inc. as of my book to screen agent at that time, because Story Inc. Siddharth Jain, they helped release my book Haunted within 3 years. It's an unbelievable deal. Within 3 years, Siddharth just asked me, my book was just published, I just made a Facebook post, and Siddharth pinged me and he said that I just saw your cover of Haunted, looks interesting, do you want me to pitch it to producers? I said, yes, please go ahead. And he said, change happened at 9 a.m. and at noon, he tells me that a producer is ready, this is the offer letter. So we closed the Haunted deal within 3 years. So I was very, very happy to have them. Not only for the support, but also for the guidance throughout. Like how you should sign up, what you should look for, what are the red flags and stuff like that. Now, there is no coaching class for authors as such. We just enter into the swimming pool without knowing how to swim. We just test the waters. So in this case, if you have a coach like this, it really helps. So that's where the literary agent position comes in. Having said that, I would also say that literary agent's work will also be about creating a pitch in order to how to adapt, because we authors are very bad when it comes to pitching. We are the worst promoters of our own books, because either we'll be shy or we'll be too attached. I don't know what it is. We're the worst promoters of our own books. We need a third person to do that for us, or in this case maybe a second person. So that's where it helps. Now I know that even Nitish is doing this. I'm very happy, and best of luck for you too. And I would like to be associated with you sometime. I'm sure that this will also work. So yeah, this is my take on it. You do need agents, but also because this is on record, I will also say that none of my web series have come through agents. Those have all happened between me directly. They have contacted me directly. Also for the books, only Haunted is the screen deal that I've gotten through an agent. And everything else has been just because I am very super active on Facebook. I'm super active on Instagram whenever I get time. Instagram, I'm not so active. So just because.
So this is a new learning for the authors.
Yeah, this is the big tip for authors. Big tip: use social media to your advantage. Authors use social media for all kinds of things, but use it to your advantage. And let people know that you are an author, you write and what you write, and then automatically that's how it has worked.
Okay, so there comes in super duper expert advice. And नीतीश जी से बात करें तो नीतीश जी, I mean clearly मुझे frankly आपसे पूछना, कभी आप धर्म संकट में पड़ जाते हैं, क्योंकि आप तो एक ऑथर भी रह चुके हैं, and now you are into, as you said, you are in a very strong position of taking initiatives कि आप manuscripts को बड़े पर्दे तक पहुंचा रहे हैं. तो आपका कभी एक होता है कि एक एंजल नीतीश और एक डेविल नीतीश, कि मैंने जो एज एन ऑथर सफर किया है, आई विल नॉट let others suffer like this, और एक होता है वो बिजनेसमैन वाला नीतीश जो डेविल पार्ट में कर रही हूँ कि नहीं, इतना तो आपको कॉम्प्रोमाइज करना पड़ेगा. सो उस मोमेंट पे हाउ डू यू बैलेंस दैट एज अ एंटरप्रेन्योर कंप्लीटली एंड एज अ राइटर, क्योंकि दो बहुत काफी अलग अलग चीजें हैं. सो बैलेंस कैसे लाते हैं?
नहीं, बैलेंस बड़ी सिंपल है. जब हम ऑथर होते तो कहीं ना कहीं वो चीज है कि जैसा सर ने कहा कि हम अपने बुक के तो खुद ही सबसे वर्स्ट प्रमोटर है. अगर मैंने कोई बुक लिखी है और मैं उससे अगर कहूँ कि नील सर आपने मतलब आपके इतने अच्छे कनेक्शंस, फॉर एग्जांपल जस्ट टेक एन एग्जांपल, आप मेरी बुक पता है बोलेंगे नितिश यार बुक में मजा नहीं आया, एंड इफ देयर इज अ थर्ड पर्सन और सेकंड पर्सन एज ही सेड, तो बोलेगा नितिश की बुक में तो बहुत जान है, तो वो तो रहता है एज एन ऑथर। नाउ कमिंग टू माय सेकंड पार्ट, मेरा सिंपल से एक मोटो था, ठीक है, कि ऑथर व्हाई कैन नॉट बी ऑथर अ सेलिब्रिटी। मुझे याद है कि जब मैंने लिट टॉक शुरू किया तो हमने देखा जैसा अभी कि क्रेडिट्स मिलते हैं हमें, ठीक है, यू नो टॉकिंग अबाउट द फाइनेंशियल एस्पेक्ट, पुटिंग इट असाइड, तो हमें स्क्रीन टाइम कहां मिल रहा है एज एन ऑथर। कितनी बार होता है कि हमारे जो है टॉक शोज आते हैं, हम एक्टर्स के, स्पोर्ट्स पर्संस के, सेलिब्रिटीज के, सबके देखते हैं, लेकिन हम कितनी बार जो है ऑथर को देख पाते किसी टॉक शो पे रेगुलरली, बैरिंग द फ्यू नेम्स, नहीं देख पाते। और रही बात लिटरेरी एजेंट्स की, तो जैसा नील सर ने भी कहा और अबीर सर ने कहा, बड़ी सही बात कही कि हमारे यहाँ भी ये कल्चर है ही नहीं उतना डेवलप। हमारे यहाँ गिन चुन के, अगर हम गूगल भी करने जाएंगे ना, ट्रस्टेड अगर 10-5 नाम ही निकलेंगे, उससे ज्यादा निकलेंगे भी नहीं, राइट? रीजन क्या है? अभी भी हमारा क्या है, वो एजेंट की क्या जरूरत है? एजेंट हियर मींस समथिंग लाइक हु टेक्स कमीशन, और कमीशन नाम से हम इंडियंस को वैसे ही प्रॉब्लम, अच्छा तुम मुझसे कमीशन लेगा, टॉकिंग वन नोट, राइट? तो चीजें क्या है, दूसरी चीज हमारे जो एजेंट्स हैं उनको खुद नहीं समझ में कई बार आ रहा है कि मैं बुक पिच कर लूं, स्क्रीन का एजेंट बन जाऊं, या अगर मैं खुद ऑथर हूं, मैं खुद को अपने आप को बढ़ावा दे दूं, तो हमारे अंदर ऑथर भी निकल निकल के बाहर आने लगता है एज एन एजेंट, कि चलो इससे अच्छा तो मैं अपनी बुक ही पिच कर लूं। तो ये सारी चीजें होती है, तो वही चीजें हैं।
Okay. So this question is to you, Abir, first, and then of course open for the other two panelists. Abir, did you when you were offered this? I mean, did you have a very open and very frank discussion with the publisher? And apart from that discussion, how important you felt to talk to someone else whose book has been already adapted, like someone like Neil who's so experienced. So आपको कभी ये मन में feeling आई कि एक बार मुझे किसी और से भी suggestion और advice एक बार ले लेनी चाहिए, and to know more about the do's and the don'ts about it?
Yeah, I think in all aspect of life, it is important to have suggestion and guidance who have already walked on the same path where you are traveling through. So yeah, and for the publisher, I think I'm lucky to join with Srishti Publication, and they are very friendly in all aspect, like giving opinion. They hear out me all the time. We are in WhatsApp, and I can ping them like anytime in during the day. So in that aspect, it is good, the publisher aspect. But this department, I am not yet reachable. Still, I am trying to get actually.
Yeah. Okay. Coming on to you, Neil, I'm sure you being super duper active on social media, I can vouch for it. And so many students, the youth, when you go to take workshops on different universities, colleges, I'm sure that you must have realized at some point or the other कि ये जो young generation है ना, they are more into they are inclined towards commercial success rather than being satisfied with their work, the inner satisfaction about their write-up. So of course your journey, I mean say as an author is of course tremendous, but then ये जो different aspect आया है कि आपका काम बड़े पर्दे पर जा रहा है. So of course these young writers, they must have 100 questions, because all are fascinated with the glamour word and the royalty that ones get after seeing their work on the screen, and contract जब sign होता है जो check आता है मोटा वाला. So I mean, what advice you have for all the upcoming writers to strike a balance between the work satisfaction and to be inclined towards the commercial success?
Okay, very loaded question this is. So yeah, because to talk anything about the youth is like people may take it as this guy is becoming too judgmental, but anyway, I'll make an attempt at this. So I have, as you said, I have interacted with the young audience in a lot of places. I conduct workshops. So my youngest people I've at Scholastic, because they are still school kids. Then I've also conducted workshops at places like IIT Kanpur and Delhi University recently.
Delhi
So all these,
University. Yes.
so I speak to all these young guys, and the one thing that I first note, the younger the age, the more the creativity in that person. their imaginations are unhindered. The kind of stories that these people create, the kind of imagination that they have. I don't know whether it is because they are at that very young age where they are still, having an impressionable mind that they can just let go and imagine. Maybe it is because of that, but they have super imagination. And I am sometimes shocked at the kind of limits that these people can go to, especially the books that the scholastic children have brought out, or they are still in the pipeline. Yeah, so that thing is one thing I would say. So we all had this creative zest when we were young, all of us. We are all still young, I know that, but when we were teenagers, we had this zest. Somewhere in
Yeah.
life, even for us, the same thing happened, Kaveri, that you are today blaming the youth to go through. We also did the same thing. We also went after commercial success. We all did that. So we left our passion someplace, and then we went into our jobs or into our businesses, and then, of course, into married life, stuff like that. The domestic life notwithstanding, so that also you have to count. And then life dictated its terms to us rather than it being the other way around. And then what happens is we journey in that process. This is applicable to all of us again. But then a point comes in our life again where you think whether what you're doing is right. Why do you do pretty much everything? Why do you do literary mirror? Why do you write books? Why do I write books? Because somewhere we discovered that what we are doing should not be only for money. It should be for our passion, for our creative satisfaction. That call, that calling we get. And when we get that calling, that is the time you start working on your passion. In my case, I gave up coaching class to write books. It was a huge business. Gave it up and I'm writing books. So this happens to us. So I would just tell the youth this two bits, that first and foremost, finish your studies. Your education is most important. Do not compromise on that. Then do have work experience. You do need your jobs. You do need your business or whatever you plan to set, because your commercial goals need to be satisfied, need to be fulfilled. If you are not fulfilled in that regard, we are living in a materialistic world. So nothing is going to go for us. So you need to have a work ethic. For me, what happens is my coaching class, my freelance writing, it taught me a work ethic. The discipline of sitting on that chair and writing, it comes from there. It cannot come only from passion. Because to be an author, it's not just creativity. It is probably 60% creativity, but 40% is hard work. It is hard work, and you have to actually sit down and slog and write that manuscript. I know so many people who have fantastic stories, but they cannot make the time or the inclination or the work that they need to put to write that book. They will simply not do it, put the story in their mind, and they will take it with them to the grave. So that should not happen. What you need to do is to make a blend of this. Listen to the calling when it happens. Do not ignore it, but then blend it with all the ethic that you have and create the product that you want to give to the world.
Lovely message out there and lovely such advices. But I'll surely come to Abir with a very important question also on different aspect. But usse pehle Nitish ji se I want to ask, Nitish ji, since you have a huge network of writers and definitely budding writers, तो मुझे याद है कि आपसे जब मेरी एक दो कुछ लास्ट वीक ऐसी बात हो रही थी, तो स्टोरी फ्रॉम स्टोरी टू स्क्रीन के इनिशिएटिव के बारे में, देन यू सेड आपकी स्टोरी में दम है तो आप पिच करें. That line still I have it in my head. तो आपको जब ये young writers मिलते हैं, तो कभी they surely must have asked कि नितिश डबल ले लो पर मेरी स्टोरी प्रोडक्शन हाउस तक पहुंचाओ. तो ये बातें जो है डेफिनेटली मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं आपको अंदर बहुत इरिटेट करती होंगी. बट देन हाउ डू यू डील विद द सिचुएशन? एक तरफ ये है, यू कैन नॉट डिस्करेज that writer who has come up to you, who really looks up to you, and दूसरी तरफ ये आपको पता है अपने एक्सपीरियंस से कि ये बहुत बेकार लिखा गया है, इसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता. I'm being very open to you. So how do you?
नहीं, I will tell you. सबसे पहले मैं ये करेक्ट करूं. सबसे पहले मैं करेक्ट हूं. जो भी स्टोरी नॉमिनेशन मत मैं उसे पढ़ता ही नहीं, एक भी नहीं पढ़ता. अच्छा. मैं सारे जूरी मेंबर्स के भरोसे छोड़ देता हूं. सर आप ऑब्वियसली दे आर द सीनियर्स, दे आर द एक्सपर्ट्स, क्योंकि अगर मैं पढ़ने लगा तो बायस हो जाऊंगा, क्योंकि हो सकता है जो मुझे अच्छा लगा वो ज्यूरी मेंबर्स को अच्छा ना लगे, और ज्यूरी मेंबर्स हैं तो ऑब्वियसली दे आर द एक्सपर्ट। और दूसरी बात आपके आता हो कि सारे बच्चे, जैसे सर ने कहा कि बड़े सुपर इमेजिनेटिव होते हैं, लेकिन नहीं सर, मैं यहाँ पे एक चीज डिफर करूंगा। बच्चे इमेजिनेटिव तो होते हैं, लेकिन वो थोड़े ना, ये होता है कि जो मैंने लिख दिया वो मतलब मुंशी प्रेमचंद साहब ने लिख दिया, ये वाली सिचुएशन है, मैं बदल नहीं सकता। अच्छा, दूसरा एक बड़े मजे की बात बताता हूँ। मसला क्या होता है, हम में से कई यंग जनरेशन की सर ने बात करी, एंड आई एम स्टिल कंसीडरिंग माई सेल्फ यंग। तो क्या होता है, हम कई बार लिख इसलिए रहे हैं ताकि कोई जो है, सॉरी मैं पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म में बोल रहा हूं, उनको इंप्रेस करने के चक्कर में लिख रहे हैं। वी आर नॉट राइटिंग टू एक्सप्रेस आवरसेल्फ रादर देन टू इंप्रेस समवन। तो क्या होगा फिर? और रही बात पैशन की, तो हम में से कितनी लोग जो है राइटिंग को फुल टाइम देने के लिए तैयार है? अगर हम जॉब कर रहे हैं, अपनी जॉब छोड़ के राइटिंग को कि नहीं मुझे 8 घंटे देने हैं, इट्स नॉट एवरी टाइम अबाउट राइटिंग। मैं कई ऑथर्स के स्पीचेस सुनता हूं, वो कहते हैं डेली लिखो। मैंने कहा डेली लिखने लगूं फिर तो वो जॉब हो गया, इट्स नॉट पैशन। जब दिमाग में आएगा तभी तो लिखूंगा। डेली बुक्स पढ़ो, मैंने कहा डेली अगर इतना पढ़ता तो आईआईटी कब का क्लियर हो चुका होता मेरा, पता चलता एमआईटी में पहुंचे हुए। तो हमारे अंदर वो आता कब है कि नहीं मुझे ये बुक्स पढ़नी है, ये मेरा जॉनर है। और हम में से कितने लोग जो है अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस के बुक्स पढ़ रहे हैं? एग्जांपल लेता हूँ वेब सीरीज की, हम में से ज्यादातर इंडियंस या हॉलीवुड सीरीज देखते हैं, राइट? मैक्सिमम। हम में से कितने लोग जो है अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस के देख रहे हैं, वेदर इट बी स्पेनिश, वेदर इट बी नॉर्वेजियन, वेदर इट बी डिफरेंट रशियन, और अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस के, लैटिन नहीं देख रहे। हमारा कंटेंट का दायरा, हमारे 50 किताबें जो हमने देखे मीडिया में, टॉप 10 बुक्स यू शुडंट मिस, टॉप 100 बुक्स यू शुडंट मिस, टाइम्स का उठा लिया, गार्जियन का उठा लिया, उसी को पढ़ रहे हैं। हमने अपनी जो है स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ाई नहीं है। हमने लिखने के लिए क्या है, अच्छा एक थ्रिलर लिखना है, अच्छा थ्रिलर में क्या होता है, मर्डर होगा और उसको हम लास्ट में डिसाइफर करेंगे, प्लॉटिंग कैसे होगी, उसका सब्जेक्ट ट्रीटमेंट कैसा होगा। कई बार ऐसा भी होता है, बहुत सिंपल सी स्टोरी होती है, लेकिन पढ़ के इतना मजा आता है, दिमाग खराब हो जाता है। आई रिमेंबर मेरी एक स्टोरी पब्लिश हुई थी लिटरेरी मिरर में, मेंडर्ड करके, इंद्रनील रॉय सर की। आई हैव रेड अ लॉट अबाउट मई दिसंबर रिलेशनशिप्स, बहुत ज्यादा मतलब काफी स्टोरीज पढ़ी है, बट उस स्टोरी को पढ़ने के बाद मुझे लगा यार मैंने आज तक ऐसा पढ़ा ही नहीं है। एंड मैंने अपने टीम से लड़ाई करके उससे 4 पेज दिलाए। नॉर्मली हम लोग 2-2.5 पेज रखते हैं स्टोरी के लिए। तो क्या ऐसी स्टोरी हमारे पास आती है जिसको देखने के बाद एडिटर खुद कहे चाहे 50 पेज चला जाए मैगजीन का, लेकिन मुझे स्टोरी पब्लिश करनी है? क्या हम वो चीजें निकाल पा रहे हैं? और अगर हमें कोई, जैसे सर ने बताया कि कोचिंग क्लासेस लेते हैं, कई बच्चे सुनते जरूर हैं लेकिन उसे अप्लाई कितना करते हैं? नहीं सर जी, एम आई राइट?
पैशन के साथ आते हैं।
Yes, yes, you are audible.
So नील सर बहुत अच्छी बातें बताते होंगे, इतना एक्सपीरियंस है, इज अ वेरी बिग नेम, जिसके साथ तो पहली बार नहीं मिला हूं, एंड आई एम फीलिंग थैंकफुल। लेकिन जो बच्चों को बताते होंगे, बच्चा कितने अपने आप के अंदर इन्वॉल्व करके, सर ने बताया तो उस चीज को मुझे करना है, नहीं मुझे तो अपने मन से लिखना है, हमने जो लिख दिया वो तो महाकाव्य है, तो फिर कहां से सुधरेंगे बच्चे?
महाकाव्य। Yes, yes. Okay, so now Abeer, no, I'm going to pitch you in a very, see, I'm talking in terms of that literary world, I'm pitching in. So pitching in a very important questions, and probably I'm expecting a little detailed answer as well, as I know you're a man of few words, but you have written two wonderful, full of words. Abir, since ये आपकी जो first book है, it has gone to screen level. So once you had announced it on social media, did many of the writers connect with you that explain it to us, how did it happen, and etc. That is one. And secondly, once you signed the contract, तो आपके दिमाग में ये आया कि आपने जो कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है in terms of your time, energy, hard work, and the return of investment, that I mean, did you kind of see it at by drawing some columns, or you thought of it that capital investment versus ROI, return of investment कैसा रहेगा, क्या रहेगा, वो आपके दिमाग में था?
Okay, so first coming into the first question, connecting, lot of people pinged me after that, and started asking who is the agent, who is the producer, how did you get it done, and all those. So that was there. And coming to the second question, if I could have done that Excel sheet, that profit and loss and income and investment, then I would have been in a Shark Tank instead of writing.
Nice one. Nice one.
Like,
nice one.
I mean, I don't think writers look for money. As per my perspective, it is all about
That's
satisfaction that your story, how many people you are reaching,
Hmm.
how many heart you are touching, or how many people are like reverting you back after reading your creation, that they have got something, they have enjoyed it. I think that is the uh, priceless than any money
Hmm.
or reward for an author, at least
Yeah.
from my point of view. And
Yeah.
there was another discussion before this question, that was success and satisfaction, right? You asked about.
Yeah. Yes.
So I
Yes.
wanted to add a note that success and satisfaction is quite a relative words. It is like perspective from that person's point of view. Like when you are a first time author just getting published, whether it is whoever the publisher is, nobody knows the name of the publisher, but you have published, you are holding the paperback in your hand, and you have the picture on the cover. That is the success. Maybe no one
Mm-hmm.
read it, your
Yeah,
parents
agreed.
read it, your uncle auntie read it, but that is the success for that person, and
Right.
that
Right.
is the satisfaction for that person. So success and
Yeah.
satisfaction are relative things, and I think no one should chase those things. Those are
Mm-hmm.
your own thing. Relish whenever it comes to your way.
Wonderful, wonderful. A very strong message again coming from you, Abir. And this will be my one last question that will be open to all three of you. So I want to begin this time with Nitish. Nitish, I saw that movie Gunjan Saxena. And also मैंने the movie देखी the two states. So when I read the book the two states and जब वो movie बनी तो of course एक पैरेलल सिनेमा मतलब कमर्शियल सिनेमा है काफी चीजें मसाला तड़का लगा काफी मूवी हिट भी बहुत हुई बट देन डू यू थिंक कि एज अ राइटर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू जब आप देखते हैं कि आपकी किताब में जो लिखा है कि वहां वो ठीक से पोर्ट्रे नहीं हुआ है बड़े स्क्रीन पे डज दैट गिव अ फीलिंग ऑफ हर्ट और या फिर हम एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं कि नहीं कमर्शियल है तो ऐसा ही है तो मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि एज अ राइटर आप क्या सोचते हैं इस बारे में
देखो इस सवाल को हमने पहले जब स्टार्टिंग कन्वर्सेशन में डिस्कस हुआ था कि
जी
हम अपनी बुक से चाहते क्या है। जैसा सर ने बड़ी अच्छी सी बात कही अबीर सर ने कि और बहुत अच्छी बात कही उन्होंने कि जब हम पहली बार बुक को अपने हाथों में लेते हैं ना उस टाइम में बड़ा
हाँ
सुकून एहसास होता है। वी फील दैट यार समथिंग आई हैव अचीव्ड इन माय लाइफ कि बुक के पीछे
राइट
मेरा फोटो है समटाइम्स आगे है बुक पे मेरा नाम है। अब ये चीज यही है कि मैं अपने आप को क्या चाहता हूं देना। मैं इस बात से खुश हूं कि चलो यार मेरी बुक पे मूवी बन गई या इस मैं बात से
या
जानना चाहता हूं कि नहीं यार जो मूवी बनी वो किस लेवल की बनी कैसी बनी और क्यों बनी। अगर ऐसी बनी है तो क्यों बनी। अगर मेरे अंदर वो है जैसा नील सर अगर मान लीजिए कोई वेब सीरीज बन रही है तो ये सबसे पहले सोचेंगे इस मजा नहीं है अगली बार इस प्रोड्यूसर को नहीं दूंगा मैं इसने ना मतलब पूरे मेरे
राइट
बुक की मतलब मैं बनाना कुछ और चाह रहा था और शायद हम लोग होंगे तो कहेंगे नहीं यार बुक बन गई मूवी मजा आ गया मतलब भाई
मजा
भाई तेरा फेमस हो गया सीधी हिंदी में। ठीक है रीजन क्या है
जी
कि हमने अपने स्टैंडर्ड क्या सेट करे हैं हमने अपने क्या स्टैंडर्ड सेट करे हैं। हमने अपना स्टैंडर्ड ये सेट किया है कि नहीं मेरी बुक आ गई मैं राजा हो गया या मैंने अब अगला जो नेक्स्ट है इंडिया जेके रोलिंग मुझे बनना है तो डिपेंड करता है
जी
मेरा साइक क्या है। और वैसे भी एक बड़ी अच्छी सी बात है रिसेंटली हमारा जो है रंजीत सिंह सही के जो डायरेक्टर थे पुष्पदीप भारद्वाज सर उनके साथ
जी
बातचीत हो रही थी मेरी तो उन्होंने एक बड़ी अच्छी सी बात कही। हम बुक लिखते हैं क्रिएटिव हमेशा हम जब राइटर्स की बात करते हैं तो उनका क्रिएटिव एंगल रहता है लेकिन मूवी नीड्स मनी टू मेक इवन मतलब बहुत ज्यादा उसमें
राइट
पैसा लगा होता है उसकी कमर्शियल अगर वो नहीं होगा पैरेलल सिनेमा हो जाएगा सिर्फ तो फिर क्या
जी
होगा अगली बार राइटर्स को फिर हम वही रोएंगे पेचेक नहीं आया छोटा सा अमाउंट आया अब इसी में सेटिस्फैक्शन करो तो अगर पेचेक बड़ा चाहिए तो उसको कमर्शियल तो करना पड़ेगा ना थोड़े
राइट
बहुत
राइट
ट्विस्ट एंड टर्न तो लाने
एब्सोल्युटली
पड़ेंगे।
जी जी बिल्कुल सो क्विकली नोइंग योर थॉट्स ऑन द सेम नील यू नो व्हेन यू लुक एट योर बुक एंड द स्क्रीन की एंड यू आर लाइक ये क्या है डिजास्टर सो यू नो हाउ मच यू आर लाइक काइंड ऑफ प्रिपेयर्ड एंड आई एम श्योर यू आर अ वेरी वेरी प्लान्ड एंड ऑर्गेनाइज्ड पर्सन बट तो आपके केस में आई मीन यू नो दैट्स अ completely different angle but still as a writer want to know your thoughts
First of all, I totally agree with what Nitish just said. It's completely a
yeah
different. It's what you want from it. In my case, I know that writing books is a completely different structure, and writing for screen is completely different. So there
yeah
is definitely going to be an adaptation. Adaptation का मतलब क्या होता है कि you are not taking the same material as it is. You are going to put a lot of stuff in it. You are going to make it commercially appealing. You need an A-list actor probably if you are going to make a commercial thing, right? Probably the actor will also not be what you want, the author wants. It may be what the channel, the studio wants, or the producer wants, something like that. So everything is going to change. So I just keep myself open कि आप change करो. I am not the screen guy. मुझे screen का grammar नहीं इतना समझता है. आपको ज़्यादा समझता है. That's what I keep in mind, though I may think differently, but I just give it to them to adapt it the way they want, and I'm happy with it. I'm okay.
I'm happy with that.
As long as they do not change the essence of the story. As long as they do not make my Meenakshi from a heroine to a villain or something like that. As long as they don't do that, I'm fine. Baki ab changes kar do.
Yeah. Quickly, your thoughts on the same, Abeer.
Quickly, one-liner. I agree. Both of.
No, I mean that was a flow of the dialogue. Anything that you want to add, I mean.
Yeah, Neil and Nitin, and Mukesh bhi. So what I want to add after this, like as Nitin said, that parallel cinema or the art films. As I am coming from a Bengali background, where art film is more successful than the commercial. I just want to say in the Bengali people, they buy ticket maybe of 500 rupees to go and watch a art film than a commercial movies. So it depends on the what audience you are showing and what is your target audience when you are making it. And you should allow and be open in your mind to give the privilege to the screen players to make the changes according to their targeted audience. And
right. So when we please
no, I am done. It's okay.
And
so
the director,
actually the bottom
not forget the director. The director is actually the guy.
I will say only one line, last line. That book से जब बनाते हैं, तो book अगर गरीबी रेखा पे है तो गरीबी रेखा के आसपास ही हमारी adaptation हो, ना कि रेखा की गरीबी पे शुरू हो जाए. तो ये ध्यान में मतलब ऐसा राइटर रखना पड़ेगा.
जी सो कहीं एनवायरनमेंट में हम नए एनवायरनमेंट में जब हम जाते हैं तो वी गेट हैबिचुएटेड फॉर सो मेनी थिंग्स वी एक्कस्टम वी एक्लेमेटाइज आवरसेल्व्स सो सिमिलरली our story for be on the bigger screen has to be acclimatized in a particular way. That is what I think, and I think that the takeaway message is like from this discussion ki be open, be alert, and be informed, be informative, and be involved. I think that's a superb takeaway from this wonderful panel today that we had. Over to you, Umar Shankarji.
Thank you so much, Kaveri ji. It has been really educative and very informative session from all of you, the stalwarts. This session, in fact, will be watched by people for quite a long time. A lot of informations are there. Many people, those who have not joined, they will be joining it. They will be listening it later on. And I want to thank everybody. A lot of people have joined. They are saying a lot of things. So all the audience, those who have joined from anywhere, this is being watched all across the globe from different countries. People keep watching. And thank you very much, all our erudite, learned speakers today. Neil ji, Abeer ji, Nitish ji, and of course, Kaveri ji. We'll meet sometimes in some other session. And thank you so much for being here. And the partners, of course, of today's session, again, pretty much everything. And of course, Literia Inside, they have been the great help in organizing this session. Thank you so much. Please take care. We'll meet in some other session soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you for opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you.